Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild. Tabletop Gaming Guild is all about the experiences members of playing tabletop games with friends and families can create. And today we're looking at Wyrmspan, a 1 to 5 player game designed by Connie Vogelman and published by Stonemaier Games. Now, Wyrmspan was announced as a spiritual successor to the highly successful Wingspan by Elizabeth Hargrave. While it's a different designer, it's the same publisher, so we'll see how much similarity there is between the two games when we go through the overview. During setup, you'll put out the 3 public boards, and every player is going to get a personal board. The 3 public boards are going to be the Dragons Guild, Round Tracker, and the Card board. The Dragons Guild is going to get 1 random guild card, as well as all the players' guild tokens. Round Tracker will have the round tracking token and 1 scoring token for each round. And of course the player mat is going to get 3 cards for dragons and 3 cards for caves. On your player board, you're going to get your player cubes, starting the game with 6 action tokens, a explorer, 1 egg that's going to go in your storage, 3 dragon cards, 3 cave cards, and 3 resources of your choice. Like Wingspan, this is a deceptively simple game. You only have a couple actions you have to worry about, but all the cards are going to have unique effects, so there's really a lot in there, and you need to have a pretty good grasp of board game terminology and iconography to be able to parse the information those cards are telling you. Let's go through the core actions. All your possible actions are printed on this board, as well as your end of turn cleanup. And those actions can be either excavate, entice, or explore. If you're excavating, you're going to play 1 of your action coins, and then take 1 of your cave cards and put it into any row. Now, the color on the cards does not matter. You can put it on any card on any row. Take note that all these cave cards have effects that generally occur when the card is played. So you would take that effect immediately. You should also note that the first column is pre-printed with a cave already excavated, so you can't excavate a new cave there. And then there are 3 columns that can have further excavations. However, the second and third column that you can excavate have extra costs in eggs. The final column also gives you a one-time ability that occurs when you excavate it. This ability allows you to pay resources and or cards in order to trade them in for extra actions. The entice action allows you to pay 1 of your action coins and then take 1 of the dragon cards from your hand, paying the additional cost noted in black, and then placing it in an excavated cave. You can always place in any of the empty starter caves or any caves you've excavated, as long as that dragon is able to live in that environment. This one, for example, can live in red or yellow. You can never place a dragon in a cave that has not yet been excavated. Again, we should note the abilities on the dragon cards, but we'll come back to that in a moment. The last possible action is explore, in which case you would take your explorer and explore 1 of your cave systems. Now, each cave system has its own cost system. They're identical but independent. So the first time you explore a specific cave, it's only going to cost you 1 action token. Second time, it's going to cost you an action token and an egg. Third time, action token and 2 eggs. So what happens when you explore a cave system? Your explorer is going to go from left to right, taking any benefit showing a little explorer on it, and then you continue on getting bonuses until you reach a stop symbol, and then your explorer returns to base camp. At any point during your turn, you can convert any 2 resources to any 1 other resource. At the end of your turn, you must discard so you don't have more than 9 caves, dragons, resources, or action coins. Let's jump back to the cards and the possible effects they can have. There are 4 symbols that you will see on your card. There are when played effects that you gain immediately when you play that card, Explorer effects that happen when your explorer enters that cave with that card. There are end of round effects and end of game effects. Just make sure you read these cards carefully, because many cards will give you resources or cards you can use later. Other ones will ask you to cash a resource or tuck a card, which are essentially spent but kept with that card for their point value. You can never use these items again. Also pay attention to where these are coming from, because it may come from the supply or your supply, or it may come from your hand. One major change from Wyrmspan is you always start the game with 1 egg, and you can store 2 eggs on your board even if you don't have dragons. The round ends once everybody has used all of their action tokens. Everybody's going to start a round with 6 action coins. However, there are various cards that cost extra and various cards that give you back action coins, so not everybody's necessarily going to have the same number of actions each round. At the end of the round, you will trigger any end of round effects and then score the end of round scoring tokens. Each player will place a cube on the scoring track based on whether they have the most, second most, or third most, ties being friendly. However, if you have no cards that fit the criteria for scoring, you cannot score at all. After scoring, you wipe the public cards and refill them. Every player will get 6 more action coins and 1 more egg. This continues for 4 rounds, and after which you would do final scoring. You may now be wondering why I've never talked about Dragon's Guild, because there's no actions that directly impact this. However, there's various board effects as well as card effects that will allow you to advance on this. Anytime you see the symbol noted here, you're advancing on this Dragon Guild, getting the bonus for whatever space you pass through or end in. If you enter one of these brown spaces, you immediately get to put a marker onto the guild card, giving you an immediate bonus or potentially endgame scoring. Each bonus has a limited number of players that can go there, and each player can only take each bonus once. One last thing to note is there's 6 different resources in this game. There's gems, milk, meat, gold, action coins, and eggs, all of which can be acquired through various board and card effects. And certain types of cards and board actions are better at generating specific types of these resources. Managing these resources and the generation of these resources is key to this game. The last thing to note is this is a point salad game, so everything you're going to do is going to score you points, and there's a handy guide for scoring at the end of the game. And you'll note that there's many ways to score points. Some cards will allow you to put markers on other cards to score your points. Every dragon is going to have a point scoring printed on it, as well as some of them have end of game scoring abilities. You're going to get points for every eggs on cards. Some cards will allow you to cash resources for points. Other cards will allow you to tuck cards for points. And then of course you're going to have the public objective points, as well as any remaining resources or cards is going to get you points. So that is how Wyrmspan is played. It is simultaneously simple to explain and difficult, because, well, everything you really need to know is these 3 actions, understanding the functions of the card effects, as well as the board effects, the various rewards you can get, is critical to being able to play this well. Thank you again for watching. Please join us again on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and other social medias. And please don't forget to like and subscribe.